Okay, now we got Josh and Tristan. Excellent. All right, guys, so I just wanted to get started. First of all, Happy New Year. This is the first live stream of the new year. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about as the very first one is that miracles are possible. And so the title of this is A Miracle Climate and Having Atmospheric Pressure. What does that really mean to be able to walk into a miracle? What situation do you have to be in for the miraculous to happen in your life?
Oh no, you're talking to an engineer who thinks about atmospheric pressure or something else.
Because we think of that and we think of essentially clouding, we think of the strong humidity, we think of it being so dense that eventually with all this pressure, you're going to feel that as far as humidity, you're going to be sweating, you're going to feel like, I don't know how to explain it, almost like headache for me because it's like head cold symptoms and I'm like, it's not, it's just really humid out here. But with that, there's certain things that have to happen for you to have a miracle. And one of the best people that I'm going to relate it to is Lazarus. A lot of people are familiar with the story of Lazarus, essentially as just the person Jesus raised from the dead. And a lot of times people don't take enough time to fully invest themselves in that story. The story is a pure miracle. It's a miracle. And one of the things that I love is that Jesus was off and he was handling business somewhere else. And even when Martha, she was upset, Lazarus was sick, and she was trying to get to Jesus. Jesus, come here, heal my brother, heal my brother. And she was upset because in that time frame, Lazarus had passed. One of the things that I love is that in this moment, Lazarus had absolute faith in his sickness. So he still was a friend of Jesus. And that's one of the most powerful things when you're connected to the right people, when you have the right mindset, it will take you so far on your faith. And so that was one of the first things that I loved about this experience. Now, a lot of times people with strong faith have to go through some things to get their miracle. Miracles don't drop in the lap. Miracles just don't walk into the room and say, high five, I'm yours today. I wish it did. It just doesn't happen that way. And so in the situation of miracles usually, when you first have that issue in that atmosphere, you first have to have a hardship. You have to have something that is going through that is testing your faith so strong. Now, in the midst of his faith, he died. He lost his absolute life. He was completely cold. And at that point, Jesus didn't come, I want to say, for 3 days. I remember Lazarus. Was it 3 or 10?
I do not remember.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Jesus rose after 3 days, so...
No, I'm thinking of how long it took Lazarus with his death. But essentially, he had been dead long enough to stink. And so, because if you've ever been around bodies, well, that's the Detroit thing of when you see bodies and when you smell bodies, it's completely like, it's rotting. And
wait a minute, how many dead bodies are there?
Because there's certain things that I'm not getting caught up in that. Yeah. You just got shot in the face. I didn't see anything. No, because my face, I don't want to get shot in my face, so I didn't see anything. But a lot of times in the summer, the grass will grow so high that they can drop a body and you won't see it at all, but you'll smell it. So then when the city comes through and starts cutting grass on vacant lots, then they find people. So no, I don't think I could do that. I just smelling my first one was just like, I want to go vomit. And if you think of that, just in that situation, you stink. And there's going to be a situation that past your hardship, you're going to feel like everyone has left you. They actually put him in his burial tomb. So that means that you have been cast out. You have been removed from everyone that you're familiar to. Lazarus was completely removed from everyone he was familiar to, and he was put away because of his situation, because they thought he no longer had life. They thought he no longer had the opportunity to live. They did not see any better outcome in that situation besides to bury him and proclaim him as dead. Now, before that, Lazarus was already speaking life. He was already standing on his faith. God, you've got to send him. I know Jesus is going to get here. I know Jesus is going to get here. There's some times where when you go through hardship, it keeps feeling like, I just know it's got to be around the corner. God, make a way. This has just got to be possible. I don't know how it's going to work out, Lord, but I know I have to trust you. I know that you're going to do it. I'm going to stand. And what happens here is that his faith was tested to the point of death. So the first part is hardship. The second part is the hopelessness and the disaster. And so the disaster is really that sickness and people being agitated around you, people saying, you should have had it by now. If God was real, you should have been healed by now, Lazarus. There's some situations to where you struggle through some things. I'll take myself for an example. I struggled through addiction, and a lot of it was not really drugs. Some of it was alcohol, but a lot of it was sexual addiction. And so I can relate to different people who are addicted to certain things because I understand the severity of it. And so with it, I went through hardship of understanding, okay, I eventually have to stop this. I eventually have to stop running through, just running through people. I eventually have to find some worth and self-respect for myself. But it took me going through the fact that I had to lose a lot of things to change who I was. So that was my hardship. The hopelessness was seeing people stop contacting me, a lot of my family walking away from me because I decided to change who I was. And a lot of people thought I could never change. You're always going to be who you are. You're always going to be, an addict. You're always going to be a drunk. You're always going to be the person who's, a messed up person who can never go anywhere with life.
So how did the change get initiated? How did that happen?
Something horrible happened to me in July.
And this past year?
July of 2017.
Okay.
And so with that, I said, what I lost, it's worth me changing my whole entire life to get it back. So at this point, if I need therapy, I need therapy. If I need to change my behavior, I need to change my behavior. If I need to change my prayer life, if I need to change my diet, if I need to change my attitude, I'm doing it. And essentially, when I have that type of loss, and I apologize, guys, that the tears roll, I'm just going to let them flow. Unfortunately, because it's not a process that's done yet, I can't speak on what it is, but it is something to where I had different guidelines of what I had to do in order to get back what I lost. And so if that meant, and it was to the point where I have sacrificed my job, I have sacrificed friendships, I have sacrificed different relationships as far as family, and then I have really allowed myself to accept change. And so that was one of the things, that having to die to what I wanted so bad, a lot of people don't understand, and I relate it to a crack addict. I know what it is for them to do absolutely anything to get that wrong. Anything. And so that was me with that situation. I didn't want to know his name. I don't care about your situation, sir. I don't care about any of that. I'm going ahead and hit this. I'm gonna get mine twice and then be about your bit. Don't call me. If it's good, I'll save you my phone number. What's today? Tuesday? I'll save you as Tuesday. Have a good day. Oh, did you need rest? It seems like you need rest at your place. Goodbye. If you can hit this again right now, then we can do this. But if not, you're going to have to leave. Like, I really had a very bad problem. My children were watching me disrespect myself, disrespect my body. They were exposed to all kinds of people from that carry all kinds of things with them. See, me saying, I don't want to know your situation, I don't want to know you as a person, that means I was literally allowing anyone to walk through my door, know where my house was, know, like, this is where my children lay their head, see this, and sometimes it could become violent. Sometimes I might walk into a relationship with a narcissist, like, them being exposed to that wasn't healthy. And so I said, I really have to change this.
So how has the change affected your children?
They see a completely different side of me. I have, for the first time, going through therapy, I have feelings. And so before this, I had no form of compassion. And I had no form of empathy. And so this has allowed me to realize that there are so many other things that I never allowed them to do. I didn't allow my kids to feel because I was always raised as you shouldn't even be seen, not heard. Just go to your room. And that's kind of what my lifestyle was as a child. Go to your room. If you're not up cleaning the house, if you're not doing something I've told you to do, you go in your room and you stay there. So it was something to where I was doing learned behaviors. I had to learn something new. Another thing that they have seen is that they have seen me walk away from some things. So I have been exposed to different situations where normally I'd be like, okay, we can do this. We can definitely do this. And then, after I get so far into a relationship, I'm like, you're crazy. I'm about to get real crazy with you. So that way you've got to go. I don't even allow it to get that far. So being able to actually take the time in relationships, talk to people, and then not specifically want to just go through that whole thing. One of the things I love about therapy is I'm starting to deal with the core problem of my addiction.
So therapy is what helped.
A lot of prayer.
Of the change.
Yes. Prayer and therapy.
Because you didn't have that example before of how to change.
Not really, no. But I had to face what my issue was. So I realized I do destructive things to myself when I'm low on dopamine and adrenaline. And so I have been able to control my addiction for almost a year now. Just because I'm able to realize, why am I really feeling this way? It's because I feel crummy today. I'm going to go up and do something that I want to do. Matter of fact, it's 30 degrees outside. Let's go swimming. Something like that. I love cold swimming. I love it. It's so good for cardio, and you don't have to sweat. It's the best. But I started realizing I made a full list of pleasure activities that I do when I start noticing those changes. So that's also something that helps me. And because of that, there have been people that I've stopped talking to. And a lot of it was family. Still assumes that I'm still the old person. So when they talk at me crazy and, oh, you're never going to change, you're a horrible parent, you're horrible this, that, and the third, you're not saying anything, I'm not going to. Because you just don't know who I am, and I don't have time to argue facts with you. That I realized that certain people, you can't argue with a crazy person that they're crazy.
Don't argue with crazy.
You can't argue with a crazy person that they're crazy. I have a lot of that I had to leave behind. And just severing things. I mean, people who I knew for 10 years, just let it go. Family who's known me for the majority of my life, at least as an adult, letting that go. You're not a bad person. I just want to stop drinking. So I no longer need to come to your house for these parties because I know what's going to be sitting on the table. That's just not right. So going through that, it's caused me to sometimes have that hopeless feeling. Will I ever get back what I lost? Will I ever, fully get what I need? So after that, I then had to completely die. I had to die to that old way. I had to die to those old thoughts, those old feelings. I had to really let go of that mindset. If that means stop watching this, that's what I had to do. If it means stop talking to this, that's what I had to do. And at one point, I had to be completely alone. Completely alone. I had absolutely no one. And for almost a year now, I've had like no one real close to me. I've had my bestie. She is someone who I talk to now every 3 to 4 months. And I have a sister who I'm close to, and she's kind of like my welfare check person. So she always checks on me. Are you okay? Is there, are you feeling well? And we're able to stay there, but I don't really ever bring her into anything too intimate with me.
Okay. So we've got Josh and Tristan here who are college students, so they might not have quite the same life experiences, but I was wondering if they've had any experiences that they've had to just like die to and then rebuild their life afterwards. Can either of you guys think of anything in your experiences where you had to like just die to that and then build your life differently afterward?
I guess you could go ahead and say when you lose like a close relationship with a family member and then having to recover from losing them if they're a big part in your life.
Okay. Yeah. And how long do you know how long that process took, or if it's still going on?
I would say it's still going on, especially if the person was a really big part in your life and you'd go to them every day and talk with them and interact with them every day for like day-to-day stuff and big life decisions. And if you just lose them all of a sudden, I don't think you really ever heal completely from that. But it's definitely, it gets better every single day.
Yeah. Time heals all wounds.
Yes. That's an accurate statement. Yeah. Very accurate statement.
So, Josh, did you have any situation in your life like that?
Not really. The most interesting one is probably when my dad had prostate cancer. We went to Sarasota, Florida to get treatment. And for our family, that was a tough time because my dad was gone from us for like 4 months for the treatment. And like during that time, like we had to pay for all of our stuff and it was just like a complete mess. But after that, I felt like our family has bonded more strongly after that incident because my dad, he actually survived through this cancer. So
that's awesome. So that was kind of a good situation for you where a tragedy happened that where your old life and routines and everything you're used to ended, but then there was a rebirth where everybody bonded more closely after that. So that was a good healing process.
Yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
I'm glad that he overcame that. That one actually gives me a little bit of hope because I've only had one family member cancer, so that one kind of hit a little close to home for me. I'm glad that everything is able to build back strong because a lot of times after you deal with that loneliness, you deal with that hardship, and you are completely in that situation where it all seems hopeless, then there's a resurrection that can happen. And being able to resurrect is a lot of times a restoration issue. It's being able to come back whole, being able to come back stronger, and not stronger in your strength, but in God's strength. And that's actually after death. So with resurrection, one of the things that I loved about Lazarus is that the way Jesus spoke about it was mainly to say, the first thing that he said was, God, just to prove to the people who are here, I want you to prove your strength, because apparently walking on water, feeding people, thousands, healing people, anointing people so strong that their shadows are healing people, that's not enough for them to believe that you can do anything. So he actually asked God, give me the strength to actually, or give him the power to resurrect Lazarus. So the first thing that he said was for Lazarus to get up. And so being able to reanimate something, that just made it more real for me. When he brought him back, organs restored and everything, that was complete. That was without sickness. That was without like every impurity, and he brought him back home. One of the unique things is that when he came back down. So if you go through the story, you'll notice that it talks about his grave clothes. And one of the unique things about grave garments is that they bind the body and then they also cover the face. And going through these times, there's some times where you cannot see, you feel suffocated because you feel like you have no breath and you feel like everything is weighing you down. You feel like you're restricted, you're held up, held back, you can't move forward. There's nothing that you really see yet, and you don't really understand that you're whole because you have restrictions. So one of the things that I love is after there was life, then he also spoke the release of his bondage. So after resurrection, there is a release of bondage. There's a completion. There is a wholeness. And that is a full process. Getting rid of some things, being whole, is going to require for you to lose some things that will make you sick. Getting rid of anger, depression, worry, fear, getting rid of those things, getting rid of the physical things that actually put you in that situation. I noticed that doing different things, getting high, drinking, that was a temporary fix. And until I stopped putting my hands on it and doing things the way I wanted to, I was going to continue to be depressed. I was going to continue to try to drink away my sorrows or sleep away my sorrows or have whatever issue as a temporary fix. And so after that, I realized that it's not going to be easy. Going through withdrawals for certain things is absolutely not easy. I thought a drinking withdrawal was bad. The lust withdrawal was worse. Going through that is still a process. So there are some situations that we go through that aren't going to change overnight. That there is that time that's needed. And then after that, after you're released from that bondage, then everyone is allowed to see the miracle. So when he came forth and he was released from his bondage, he was able to walk out absolutely healed and whole and restored. That was something to where his faith, even to the point of death, allowed him to walk in a complete victory, in a complete miracle. So I do want to encourage you guys, in this time of pressure, keep strong faith, keep speaking life to yourself, keep speaking life into your situation. Things seem incredibly rough, and they can, but I will give you a complete situation where I had to have a miracle. I had a situation to where business was horrible. I wasn't working, and so I had made in 1 month $240 for a whole month. That's what I had to survive off of. I had one of my child's birthday coming up the next month. I was facing an eviction, and I was terrified. I tried the thing. I tried, asking certain people for help. Because of how I am, I can't really ask too many people. A lot of times with my type of family is that they want to know all the details, and then they won't actually financially or physically assist you. But now they know all your business.
Yeah.
So a lot of people I didn't talk to, I looked more for community resources, and it failed. And then I actually got the official eviction notices, and still I couldn't come up with any finances. A lot of times my sister, who I am, at least talking to her, she's like, Amber, this is crazy. Why are you going to church right now? And maybe you should try to, drive and come up with some money. I've got an obligation. I still have to, I'm hoping God will make a way. I actually went to court and got evicted, and they gave me 3 days to move out. So Yep, I guess in Chandler they can actually do like full eviction process within 30 days. It's usually, people say 6 months, but that was not the case for me. So this is the first time I had ever done this. I had been for almost 10 years, paid rents, paid mortgages, never had an issue. And so I couldn't sleep. I was worried. I was frustrated. Where my kids going to lay their heads at? What's going to happen, as far as meals? Because I'm already hungry. I can't see a way out. I don't know what. And I'm sorry if the tears roll because it's a place of pain. I literally did not know what to do. I was hopeless. I came back from court, and I remember feeling sick because I had been crying. And I said, God, tell me at least what to take, because all I can take is the stuff in my truck. I have no money to my name, not for storage, not for a deposit on an apartment. I had nothing. And luckily, I had a good minute, and they said, you know what? The court says that you need to be out by the 30th, and we're going to just put it to committee but we're going to give you until the 15th of the next month to actually be physically out. Then my landlord said that they would give me $200 toward my moving, which is really weird that a landlord would actually help you like that. Right. And so she was actually doing it not from the business side of it, but just out of her personal pocket to help me.
It seems like it was useless for them to bother with the court and the evictions and all that, because what did they do?
They have to keep it standard for everyone for that. She was at least going to do it. So I was like, God, at least you can pay her. And then I applied for an apartment. And at that time, I was on unemployment. So unemployment is only $240 a week. And so I applied for kind of like a week-to-week place. And I was still up in the air. Are they going to approve me or not? And I tried calling shelters. People were closed. I tried contacting housing authorities for Chandler, Tempe, Scottsdale, Phoenix, and Maricopa, and everyone was closed. They were no longer taking applications. Low-income housing was 3 to 6 years wait list. So I was literally terrified, like, I'm about to sleep in my truck. I haven't been homeless since I was pregnant with my first child. And so being in that situation, like mentally thinking about it, I literally sat in my tub and I said, I just want to take a bath again, because I don't even know when's the next time I'm going to feel hot water on my skin. So I was depressed about it. I couldn't figure out what to pack. And I sat in my house for about another week. And I was in bed and something told me to get up that day. And so I got up. I realized I was running 4 hours late to a job fair. I go to the job fair. I get good news there. I get back in my truck and I'm missing a call from someone who works in a therapy team for me, heard about my situation. We always set money aside to help people. We're going to give you $1,500 to pay your past due rent. Then I was able to have another one of my family members, and I've never asked her for anything. I don't even come at her for stuff like that. And so she, after about a year of going through issues, she started asking me about my situation. And she said, I refuse to let you continue to go through this. She gave me another $450 to pay for the next month. So that way everything was situated. So I literally was officially evicted, officially had judgment, but never went without a roof over my head, never went without lights, never went without food. Even when I was like hungry, somehow I was able to have someone give me something. A customer missed their order, so then I would get food, like free food. So it was something to where it always worked out. But I was so terrified of the what if could happen that I literally lost so much.
There's the Andre. I used to volunteer sometimes for the Andre House, but that's in downtown Phoenix. And if you were in Chandler, you'd have to actually get to the Andre House, and they have a meal every evening. I think maybe 6 days a week, but maybe it's 7. But they might have breakfast too. But I know they have at least one meal a day, and people line up and they have food. I don't know if there's how often there are kids in the line. It's been like 20 years since I volunteered there, but they're still doing it every night.
And see, that's awesome. And also to like St. Vincent de Paul, they're like, we'll give you all these groceries. I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'm one person in a truck. Like, where am I going to put them? So it was something that more of the fear of not having the roof was the worst thing. If you ever, if a lot of people have never lived on the streets, but if you don't know what it's like to deal with 30-degree shifts in Arizona, weather, and it being 120 during the day and like 60 degrees at night, and you're just like, this one bench, I'm on this bench, and I've got a coat on, I've got a blanket on me, and doing the best I can. I feel for homeless people out here because I've done it, and I was homeless, pregnant for about 2 weeks. So, because of my behaviors and my addictions, I didn't want to tell anyone my situation with my first child. And so, for me, it might be the other one, the other girl who's...
Oh, Lily.
Where is she at, though?
She's over here by John Marco.
She is. That might be her.
Well, this is strange because it doesn't even have the icon. It's this black screen. Huh.
I wish it told me at least some information.
Yeah. They didn't enter their name, so that's interesting. Well, I wonder who that is.
No worries. You can pop in though, Ghost.
Yeah. Hi, Ghost. What's your name and what's your I wonder if it's anybody. If you're on webcam, your camera is blacked out, but your voice is muted. I can see that there's a little microphone icon with the slash through it, meaning that you're muted. So we won't be able to hear you. But if you can type in the chat. Oh, you know what? I'm going to type in the chat right now.
Okay.
Hello. So, and Josh and Tristan, you're free to type stuff in the chat there too, if you're interested. Anyway, I don't know who the person is that just joined in, but it would be nice to find out.
Do I have to? I do have to cut, huh? Because
we're past 12. I don't think anybody signed up for 12:30, so it's not about that. So I'm not sure where that came from.
Okay, well, no worries if someone's joining in. I still welcome you. Because I'm a little bit over my time, I do have to go, but I just want to say, I just want to encourage you to keep speaking life, keep speaking the positive things, keep rehearsing the positive things on here, because after this issue, after your situation, one, you're going to be encouraging yourself, and it goes a long way to stand on faith, not to look in hope from someone else, but to look in hope from yourself and really know who you are. It's going to build such a better courage and strength inside of you. So keep up the good work, keep up the faith, and until next time, I encourage you to live.
Thanks, Amber.